KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
KLEK 102.5 FM, good morning to you. It is Friday, it's almost time for the weekend, and we are almost done with Mayor's Week on Community Conversations. Kato Wonder is in the studio with you. I got my co-host with me, Mrs. Quabila Harden, and today joining us on Community Conversations is Mrs. Amanda Dunavant, who is a candidate for Mayor of Jonesboro. KLEK and the Voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council does not endorse nor support any candidate for office, nor was any compensation provided for this interview. This interview was provided for informational purposes only, and we hope that you all will be informed because early voting begins Monday. So make sure that you check out this interview as well as the interview of all of the other candidates so that you can stay informed. You can go to our website, klekfm.org, click media, click KLEK TV, and you can see all of these interviews if you miss one. So let's go ahead and get into today's interview with Mrs. Dunavant. How are you doing today, Mrs. Dunavant?
Good morning, Lagonzi. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. So, all right, let's go ahead and kick it off the same way we kick off all of our interviews. Tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, I'm born and raised here in Jonesboro, Arkansas. My family has been here since 1909. I am happily married to my husband, Hunter Dunavant. We've got 3 beautiful children, Sydney, London, and Anna. They're 7, 5, and 3. Sydney and London attend Valley View. Anna is in a private pre-K here in town. It's a small business called Next Generation. I'm employed by Razor Rock Materials. I do the office. I do payroll, HR. We help out with HR and insurance, dispatching. I actually hold a Class A CDL, so if we needed somebody to drive a truck, I might be able to do that.
All right.
Let's see here. I'm actively involved in our community. I know my name hadn't been all over the place, but I'm really big into the veterans. I support Teal Toes and breast cancer awareness. Really big into the veteran causes. Me and my grandmother also, my grandmother and I, we own a trailer park, and I help her with that. And it's 14 acres. I'm proud that I grew up there. I mean, my renters, I love them just like family. You know, I'm the street department, I'm the parks department, I'm the, anything. We also hold what we call our council on Sunday, where we invite the whole entire park down and we sit down and have a meal and talk.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
All right, so Mrs. Dunavant, what made you decide that you wanted to run for mayor, and what do you feel that your qualifications are to become mayor?
Well, Lagonzi, that's a good question. Well, when I got involved with to repeal the International Property Maintenance Code, I actually went door to door, collected signatures, talked to a lot of people around town, and the outcry of wanting change, their voices was not being heard. Problems within the dispatch center, E911, I mean, the voices, it was actually, we turned overtone, we threw it, we got it to where it was past the repealed. It was 75% vote. I got in with that and started talking to people. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm nervous.
No problem. Don't be nervous. Remember, this is a conversation. Like I always say, this is a conversation between 3 people, and a whole bunch of other people are eavesdropping. And shout out to everybody who's listening, and also shout out to everyone who is on our Facebook live stream as well. And of course, you can post questions for Mrs. Dunavant on that live stream, or you can give us a call at 870-277-1080. Once again, that phone number is 870-277-1080. So now, getting back to your response on why you want to run for mayor and your qualifications.
Well, I was just an abundance of, I want change. My voice is not being heard. and people actually, it's kind of different to have people show up while you're on the John Deere tractor and pull you off the tractor and ask you to run because you're so actively involved and you're such a good person and you're caring. I know you're young, but you know, I'm 29 years old and I have experienced more in life than what most 29-year-olds have, because I've been helping with our trailer park ever since I was probably 6-7 years old.
Okay. So how would you be able to bring that experience to the mayor's office from your life experiences?
Well, that's a good question. I've been involved with quite a few federal agencies: MSHA, OSHA, EPA, DHS, FEMA, DOT, EPA, ADEQ. In the mayor's office, I've basically been a mayor my whole entire life, except not on the grander scale. I mean, I answer. How so? Our tenants. Hey, we have a problem here. You need to fix this. Okay, it's done. We have concern. You know, well, what's your concern? How can I help you? You know, as far as, you know, we're about to be homeless to we're hungry. You know, I get routine, hey, you know, the buses don't come out here and I don't have the gas money to drive to town. Because even though we're still in the city limits, we're down to where it was de-annexed, you know, right off of Harriet Road. So, and the buses, the closest spot would be about 5 miles on G Street. So I don't have no problem stopping and getting people stuff and bringing it out to them. And, you know, my phone and my door, actually our front door is always open except for when it's bedtime, and of course we lock the doors up.
Okay, well, can we transition into another question, or I guess kind of two questions? You talked about where you live has been de-annexed, and that's one topic that has been that has come up concerning annexation of more land into the city. And then two, you mentioned where you also live, where your trailer park, where your space is, the buses don't run that far. So another question would be, if you were to be elected mayor, would you consider proposing to the federal government, where the JET system gets their funding, can we open up or expand the service area and also expand the service time frame, meaning later times in the evenings and weekend services? So answer which one.
I'm going to start with the de-annexation. Okay. It was probably a good half block from where the de-annex actually occurred. Okay. The services was not provided.
I'm going to put that mic a little closer to you.
The services was not provided, and that's one of the reasons why, it was a mass annexation. And when you annex, you're supposed to guarantee services to your community. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you cannot provide, why annex? Okay. And how we're sitting right now, we're 82 square miles. We're great. Okay. We got enough room to expand. We got people that's lived here lifelong. The property switched hands, and they still don't have services.
Okay, so would you say instead of bringing more land within the city limits, just work on the upkeep of what we have?
That's right.
Repurposing or just redeveloping the land we already have within the city limits?
We need to redevelop. We need to maintain and do our preventative maintenance and, try to help the citizens that we already have before we, tax our fire department, our police department with heavy burdens. I mean, we're 82 square miles. I mean, that's, from a trucker standpoint, that's a big town. Okay. And it's just crazy that we're constantly trying to add stuff, like land, that people are having to de-annex because they ain't getting city services like city water, city sewer, city electricity. Okay. It was going to tax the city water and light over $100,000 for this property to get even electricity to them. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why it was de-annexed.
Okay.
All right, and I want to bring it back to something you mentioned earlier. You mentioned earlier that one of the main reasons why you decided to get involved in the election is the property code. Well, as you know, the property code was repealed, but the problem of blighted houses still exists. There's still unsightly houses that are falling down, houses that are a danger to people. There are still renters, and you can probably offer a unique perspective of this as a landlord. I'm sure that you're a good landlord yourself, but you do have those landlords that don't fix up their property, and the renters complain, and it falls on deaf ears. So if you are elected mayor and this issue comes about again, what would you propose to do to solve the issue once and for all, so that the houses that are blighted can be taken care of, and also renters who have bad landlords can also have their recourse as well?
That's a good question. I'm sorry. It just makes me upset because I have been the renter and I have been the landlord. The way I look at it is, if I'm not going to live there, why expect somebody else to? Condemnation, that's a good one. There is homes that do need to be tore down, but we also need to go case by case. Can we refurbish this? Can we help? I've been really active in Habitat for Humanity. Hey, is there any way that we can repurpose this historical? I grew up on the north side, so, I see it every day. Every day I see it, and I understand. We can try to get federal grants. When it's a historical building, there's actually more grants that we could actually tap into. Now, if it's salvageable, if it's unsalvageable, then ultimately the only way we can take care of the problem is condemn it and tear it down and start over.
And what is the option for, I live on the north side too, and I see, I want to say it's Allen Street. I see a few homes that needs quite a bit of repair, and I know that the residents that live there just don't have the resources to repair. So if there was a code in place and the city decided, okay, this house is going to cost more to repair versus just condemning it, what happens to the residents then?
Well, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, I think, just to clarify, what about those owners who can't afford to fix up their property? They would love to if they could, but they just can't afford to.
Well, I understand that with being a mother of three. I totally understand that. And the way our medicine and our insurance and, just the cost of living is outrageous. It's a bunch of people's living paycheck to paycheck and having to sell stuff on Facebook. Me, myself, and I, get in contact with me. We will, like I said, I help my renters. I would not have no problem helping the citizens of Jonesboro. Now, I'm rich by no means, but I'm rich in knowledge and I know hard work. I will try to seek out. I'm not as information savvy as Street and Cope and Perrin because I haven't been in the grants process, but I'm sure that I can find something to help these people. Okay. Because nobody here, they should not lose their home because I actually knew somebody that was lost their house and they didn't have nowhere else to go because it was condemned. Wow. And to me, somebody works their life for their house. Yeah, they're having a rough patch, but you shouldn't throw them out on the street. To me, it breaks my heart and it makes me want to cry thinking about it.
Okay.
All right, and let's continue on with the north side. You said you grew up on the north side of town, and as you know, the development on the north side of town has not kept pace with other parts of Jonesboro. So if you are elected mayor, what will you do to revitalize the north side of Jonesboro?
Honey, I totally understand that. Now, I'm grateful for Bill's Fresh Market. I'm grateful to have O'Reilly's and the dollar store out there now.
Yes.
In the come and go. I'm so grateful to have these places. And then, we do have a community park out there, but we do need more. I mean, you have to drive across town to do, go to Walmart or hey, if you want a Burger King, you will have to drive all the way to, Burger King and Sonic. The closest one is right there at Red Wolven Boulevard. But if you live all the way out there where I do, that's a good 20-30 minute. We need to encourage business. We need to invite them here, take them and show them the need, and be the ultimate cheerleader. Come on now, I live here. This is what our people need, and these people will come to you and buy. whatever I can do to bring that out there is what needs to be done. And it needed to be done like 5-6 years ago, honey. Yes.
All right. We have a Facebook question. And of course, if you have a question, you can post it on our Facebook live stream, or you can give us a call at 870-277-1080. That's 870-277-1080. This question comes from David Carnes, and David says, "Hello, Amanda. What do you think the most important issues facing Craighead County are, and what do you hope to accomplish in 2017 if elected into office?"
Well, my top 4 is our drug and crime, our flooding and preventative maintenance, and the pay raises, and our rights. That's my top 4.
And what are you going to do to address each one?
Each one. I'm going to try to encourage a detox center to come into Jonesboro to help with the drug problem. We need to actually start enforcing and picking these people, not the users. The ones who are, to me, it's an illness. I'm talking the ones who actually deal the hard drugs. We need to get them out of here.
Okay.
I mean,
now how would that relate to a detox center? A detox center is for the users to help them break the addiction.
Right.
So how
the detox center actually, like when you're an alcoholic, people on heroin, cocaine, things of that nature, they go through a awful withdrawal syndrome, which could ultimately kill them. The detox center will help that, because they have to detox before you can put them into rehab.
Okay.
I'm really going to try to talk to NEA or St. Bernard's, because in my best opinion, it needs to be at a hospital or near a hospital, because medical treatment is when they start hallucinating and going into seizures. That is a number 1. And that would actually, I'm going to try to get a nonprofit to go in the hospital. That's what I would try to do.
And you mentioned 3 other things. I know one of them was rights, and Quabila, do you remember the other 2 she mentioned?
Flooding.
Drug and crime, flooding.
Mm-hmm. So let's start with rights. What would you do about rights, since you mentioned that's one of the things that you would do for Craighead County?
Well, I'm going to protect all our Bill of Rights. I mean, when the code came in, it gave us... Now, I don't say the current administration would do it, but it opens a door, for them to come up in your home for no matter what. I'm sorry. I have been broken into. To me, I see that, 1, as a rights violation. 2, that could get somebody hurt, if they don't know they're coming up in their home, I'm going to be your guard dog on that. If I see where it could lead to a problem with your, stepping on somebody's rights, somebody ain't feeling, hey, I got a problem with this, I'm not going to tell them, well, let me tell you. You have a problem, we need to talk about this. Rights, that's a big thing. I mean, a lot of people have fought and died for that, and it needs to be upheld no matter, anything that says international to me sends red flags, because we are the only nation in the world like this. And without our rights, we are not free, and we need to keep that. Okay,
and I think you mentioned flooding was one of your 4 pillars.
Mm-hmm. The Corps of Engineers has known since 1927 that we are flood prone, and here it is 90 years coming up in 2017, and we're still down. So that's a big issue to me. And plus our emergency preparedness. I've been a member of Skywarn since I was a little kid. Also OEM, volunteer since I was a little kid. We are actually understaffed in our fire department. We have been understaffed in our police department. To me, that, when you have a town of 70,000 plus, that's 82 square miles. I mean, there's been times where it's I've gotten emails that I'm not going to address on your radio show, but complaints from people where it's taken them 2.5 hours to get to them during an active break-in. Now, I'm thinking it's more of a dispatch problem with me being a dispatcher, but most certainly we need more fire department. We need more, the police. We don't want to turn into what I've been hearing is Little Memphis, and to me it breaks my heart to hear that. I love Memphis, but the crime rate is crazy. People's homes are getting broken into. The drug habits around here, the opioid addiction. I spoke without it out of the dark. I'm sorry. I'm talking too fast.
No, you're fine. We got about a minute for a break, so.
And We have got to get that flooding under control. We are having people, small businesses, we had FEMA come in and, help the residents, but there's no help for the business people because once they get flooded out, it's over. Preventative maintenance is the big player in all this. They have known for 90 years that we are flooding. Why ain't this being done? Why ain't this solved?
Then maybe when we come back from break, you can offer your ideas or solutions you have to try to fix the flooding issue.
Right.
I know eventually the water runs out to the county.
And they're having a big silt problem right now, which is sand. I don't know, a lot of people know. That's just what happens when you disturb dirt, but silt fencing and things of that nature will help.
All right, well, we have 20 seconds, so
Well, we'll go ahead and get ready to go to break. We are speaking with Mrs. Amanda Dunavant, candidate for mayor of the city of Jonesboro. Of course, if you got a question, post it on our Facebook live stream or give us a call at 870-277-1080. And Mrs. Dunavant will answer your questions. We'll be back on KLEK.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Can you imagine a place where families experience the fullness of love in their relationships? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. At Family First, we're celebrating 25 years of serving families to helping families love well. We can get closer and pursue a destination where every child experiences the love of a mom and dad, and where every mom and dad is engaged in the life of their child, where marriages don't die, don't just survive, but thrive. We can get closer to that place where families are loving well and experiencing amazing joy in their relationships. That's where we're heading for the next 25 years too. And I believe that if love rules your relationships and fills your home, this dream can come true for you as well. Go to familyfirst.net/anniversary for more. And remember, your family first.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook.
House of Details, located at 4903 East Nettleton Avenue, is a proud supporter of KLEK, offering detailing on any type of vehicle, basic wash, hand wash, shampoo, interior cleaning, waxing, buffering, headlight restoration, pickup, delivery, and more, with a motto of anything mean, we can clean. Details at 870-273-5187. House of Details on Facebook and KLEKFM.org.
New St. John Missionary Baptist Church, 308 North Main Street in Jonesboro, is under the direction of Reverend Ted T. Taylor Sr. Worship services are Sundays at 11 o'clock a.m. Sunday school is on Sundays at 9:30 a.m. Prayer service is Wednesday nights at 6:30, and Bible class is on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock p.m. New St. John also has the Men of Standards Ministries, Outreach Ministry, Choir, Youth Ministry, Dance Ministry, and Missionary Society. www.newstjohn.org. New St. John Missionary Baptist Church on Facebook, 870-932-6915.
Lame excuses and other forms of voter apathy have no place in American democracy. Show that you care, do your duty, and go vote. This is a reminder from Cheryl Underwood Radio.
The Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated was established on June 28, 1997 by 13 dynamic women who accepted the challenge and honor of chartering the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter. Today, the chapter continues to impact the Jonesboro community by sponsoring programs such as the Sonia D. Williams Scholarship Breakfast, Back to School Bash, Disaster Preparedness, Delta Academy, Empower African Girls, and Autism Awareness. Our focus correlates with the national theme, uncompromising commitment commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. Our chapter supports Delta's 5-point programmatic thrusts: economic development, educational development, international awareness and involvement, physical and mental health, and political awareness and involvement. More information about the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is available at www.jonesboroalumnidst.org or via email jonesboroalumni@live.com.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations with our guest, Mrs. Amanda Dunavant, mayor candidate for the office of mayor of Jonesboro. Before we went to break, I believe Kubila had a question for Mrs. Dunavant.
Well, we were talking about the flooding issue, so we didn't get into, what are some of your proposals to help, your suggestions to help fix the flooding issue.
Okay. We most certainly need to start cleaning our ditches out. We need to. When I was a kid, we had Operation Clean Sweep, and that was one time a year right at Easter, and it was not really promoted as much as it needed to be, so it wasn't really used. So we need to activate that, and that's, for people who don't have a truck or a way to the landfill, to get rid of trash and things of that nature. Also, to encourage people to call in and notify, hey, we need help with this sort of kind of thing. We also need to start cleaning our ditches out, keep them cleaned out, because without that being cleaned out, we also have stuff to deal with the county, and I'm going to work hand in hand with Mr. Ed Hill, hopefully, to keep this taken care of, because what does happen downstream does affect the people upstream.
Okay.
So if the water is pouring, we're getting it out of here, but there ain't nowhere for it to go, it's just stopped in one spot, it can't really go nowhere. We also need I know it'd be pricey, and we really probably can't afford it right now, but sometime here in the near future, we need to consider looking into our drainage pipes itself.
Okay.
And some places in town don't even have drainage pipes or even have the capabilities of it, but that's the old part of town.
Okay. I want to ask a question. Earlier we were talking about some different things like drugs and crime, and we were talking about the annexation. And anyway, in between all of that conversation, you brought up about the police and fire being understaffed and various things. And then, with the flooding and cleanup of the city, we're talking dollars. It's going to take some money from somewhere. So let's talk about the budget. What do you feel that you can bring to the table to help either balance the budget, keep it where it is, so that we can still have a surplus, and we're not overextending the budget? And then I know that recently that pay raises have been approved for the various city departments. So let's just talk money. Let's talk about budget.
Let's talk about the budget. Now, the budget figures it varies. There ain't an adequate where you can go, hey, how much are we spending in the Parks Department this month? And my place of business and where I work for, we have that. We will have that. My biggest thing is we are not going to be spending like we have been spending. Just spending over $600,000 for a piece of property. I'm sorry, we really didn't need that right now. I mean, I'm a big fan of the aquatic center, but let's privatize this. I mean, we're putting too many burdens on our city where we're not taking care of our problems. So, I mean, I'm very conservative with my money. You got to be when you got 3 kids and you're volunteering and you want to help the everyday person out, because when you have been there, I bring something to the table that most of these people don't even done. I mean, I can drive heavy equipment. If I have to get on the front end loader and start clearing ditches myself, I will, because I have, and I don't have a problem with it.
That would be a sight to see.
I mean, I've always been in a male-dominant field when
Well, it seems like your fans are blowing your phone up. Once again, we are speaking with Mrs. Amanda Dunavant, candidate for the office of mayor of Jonesboro. She's talking about the budget, and while she responds to that text, I just kind of give the overview. Kabila was asking her basically how we're going to keep the budget balanced in light of the increase due to the pay raises that were recently passed, and Mrs. Dunavant was basically saying that she's going to propose some cuts in spending. So I'm going to go ahead and stay on that. But what are some other things that you feel may have to be cut in order to keep the budget balanced? Because some of the other candidates have mentioned that because of the increases, that either cuts will have to be made, or even a public safety tax or some other tax may have to one day be implemented, or equipment may have to be foregone on purchases, or capital improvements may have to be put on hold.
I'm sorry about that. That's one of my truckers, and I'm still kind of working. I'm sorry. But my biggest thing is we need to cut our spending. I'm not a big fan of the taxes. I mean, we're sitting at 8.5%. That's quite a bit for a town of our size. I mean, we're one of the highest in the state. I mean, if you cut our spending, I mean, keep our people happy, keep our employees happy, keep them here. It will help on our training cost. From what I understood from Mr. John Street at our K8 event, we're spending about $2 million in, training alone. I mean, that in itself would actually pay.
All right, Kelly K, who's this?
This is Norma Farrell. Good morning. Good morning to you guests.
Hey, Mrs. Farrell.
Hey, Miss Farrell, how are you?
I'm doing good. I would like to commend you for stepping up to the plate and being a real strong woman and running with these men to get this job.
That's right. I need your support in that, because I bring something to the table that most people wouldn't. I'm here for our people. I'm here to listen to you.
I'm listening to your ideas, and they sound good.
All right.
Ms. Farrell, did you have
I would just like to let you know that I'm proud of you, and continue on, and good luck with your campaign.
Thank you, ma'am. I need prayers and I need support. Thank you. And I am here for you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Okay, have a good day, all of y'all do.
All right, Miss Farrell.
Bye.
Take care, Ms. Farrell.
Bye-bye.
All right. And, of course, if you want to call in for Mrs. Dunavant, the phone number is 870-277-1080. Once again, that phone number is 870-277-1080. We're also live streaming on our Facebook, so if you got a question, you can post that there as well.
Alrighty, well, I'm surprised Miss Farrell didn't ask. And I brought it up earlier, but we didn't get quite to with the jet systems.
Right.
We
touched on it.
It was touched on, but it was basically asked, are you in favor, and how would you try to work to extend jet service for weekends so that people could shop on Saturdays or go to church on Sundays?
Actually, it needs to be around the clock, to be honest. I mean, I know people are probably screaming, oh no, it's going to cost a lot of money. Oh no,
Well, yeah, because you're proposing cuts, so that would actually be a big increase on the other end.
Well, when you have people that's out on the north side and they can't get to town to go to work, that's hurting them. They can't spend money to pay the sales tax. I mean, I know the city only gets 1% of that sales tax.
Okay.
But, without employment, rightful transportation to and from the store, I mean, the only other option is either to ride a bike or walk. And if you're not able to do it, then you're not able to go to town and get your necessities. You got to call somebody. Hey, I know I love you, but can you do me a favor?
Yes.
And I don't have a problem with that. I've done it all my life because I would hope somebody would do it for me. But, some people would like to do it for themselves. And if you give them away in transportation, that's the way it needs to be.
Okay.
All right, Mrs. Farrell, I see you're back.
Well, you know what? She just got my vote. When you said that, when you said about the bus system 24/7, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just a lot of people, you could say touched on it earlier. That's why I didn't even mention it again. But I have a passion for the jet system because I ride it, and I know people that have no other way of getting to where they need to get. And they're very, very grateful and thankful for it. And we all are. Even though I have a car now, it's there for me in case I don't have one or my car breaks down or whatever. So we definitely need the extended hours, and we need the Saturday and Sunday. And it would be wonderful if we could get it 24 hours. I know Jonesboro is a small city, and I know, bigger cities do have it. But it's growing by leaps and bounds every day, and one day we're going to need it.
Yes, ma'am.
So support that system, and what you said just a few minutes ago, I just got it, but I almost shouted. So keep on talking and keep the good work up. You're getting notes every day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, Miss Farrell. Well, looks like you may have struck a nerve there.
Well, most people don't know this about me, but my job at Razor Rock is the first job I had that was during the daytime. Most of mine had been overnight. And when you're having to go pick your friends up, and then some of them it kind of embarrassed them because they didn't have way to and from work. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, honey, don't be, let's not be this way. I'm grateful that you are coming to work, and I'm grateful that the good Lord give me the money and transportation to get you there. Because my mother worked third shift, I've worked third shift, most of my life. And with that way to work, right, then you can't.
We got another call, so let's see who we have.
Make money to spend. I mean.
KLK, who's this?
This is Shay.
Hey, how you doing, Shay?
Hey, I got something to say on the transportation for the 24 hours.
Okay.
That sounds like a good idea because some people can't get to where they need to go, and some people can't get out and go places and stuff. And with it being 24 hours, that's very convenient because some people work overnight and need to get to where they're going. I really do think that would be a good idea if they enforce that.
Okay. And I'm going to do every means possible of getting it, honey, because I've been there trying to walk to work. Not very many people know that, but when my truck broke down and I worked at a nursing home as a LPN nurse, and I would actually have to walk from my home on Washington all the way to Skill Care, which is on Browns Lane, just to go to work if I couldn't. For about 2 months, I didn't have a vehicle because I was the only one supporting my household.
Oh, wow.
So
wow.
The struggle is real, honey. I have been there. I know.
yes, and that transportation, it would really help because like I work overnight too, and sometimes I have car trouble or I have problems getting rides and stuff, and that would be great if the jet lines or transportation or something is 24 hours. We need that.
Even if I have to look into privatizing this, see if I can get a private company to come in and buy it out, it will stay here. Okay. I mean, it's a need that the city needs, and it's been an outcry for years.
One thing people need to understand.
That's a great idea. You keep working for us, and that's great. I really do appreciate that you're trying to do something because I didn't think anybody was going to ever think of, we need 24-hour transportation, and it's about time, so.
All right, well, Miss Shay, we certainly thank you for the call.
All right, thank you.
All right, have a good day.
Miss Shay. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, and once again, phone lines are open at 870-277-1080. It looks like this Jets thing is very popular. It looks like it's something that the community definitely has an interest in. I want to get around to some other questions. One of the jobs that the mayor does is appoint department heads. So if you are elected mayor, do you foresee any changes in any of the department heads? Would you keep all the current department heads? Would you make any replacements in any positions? What would you do about that?
Well, as of right now, the way I'm standing, I can't really, it's kind of unethical and immoral. I'd be scared to death somebody would want to do that to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm new to this. I'm coming into an office. Why would you want to fire somebody if you don't know the full entire story? Yeah, we got the media out there.
Well, maybe not immediately, but like at maybe some point after evaluating each position.
Yeah. Well, as far as I'm sitting right now, I kind of think we're good at where we're at. But that is something I'm going to do. That's one of the things I'm going to do my first couple days in. I'm going to do a top to bottom, however you want to say it, audit on all departments. I'm going to review every kind of everything. I'm a book of knowledge. I want to know the whole entire story, how we can make this better. If there was a complaint, how can we more best suit, how can we make this better without terminating somebody? Because I've never been fired, but I've seen people get fired. And, when you're talking about firing somebody, you're not just firing that person. You're firing their whole entire family. And that in itself, I couldn't do it unless it was something really, really, really horrible, But if it came down to it, I would. Because, rules are rules. And if you can't do your job, then we may have to, because you're representing our city. You're representing our employees. You know what I'm saying? And if our employees ain't getting represented, or the city's voices ain't being heard, you know, I for the heads of the department, you're supposed to be my backbone to your, you know, department. You're supposed to let me know all concerns, everything. And if you're not appealing that, then yeah, we're gonna have talking to.
Okay.
But as we are now, I'm gonna try to keep everybody where they're at, because they're doing a great job. I know our parks and recreations people are awesome. Our fire department's awesome. Our police department's awesome. I mean, we have a wonderful city. We just need to be more concerned on our choices, to hear people's words, you know, and their concern.
Okay.
All right, Mrs. Dunavant, what will you do if you are elected mayor to attract more industry and more quality of life things for the people of the city of Jonesboro?
Well, as a mayor, you're supposed to be the ambassador of your people. You're supposed to be the biggest cheerleader. And honey, I used to be one. I know how to do this. I mean, the best way you can do this is say, hey, just come see us. We'll show you around town. You know, if you find a piece of property, I mean, let's talk business. Let's get a hold of the realtor. I mean, you bring out the good and you tell them the bad up front. I mean, it's not really that hard. You know, I've been involved in business my whole entire life, whether it be buying and selling goods, you know, hard work in general, but, you know, it's really not that hard. You just got to get out there and search for it.
Okay.
All right, and let's now transition into traffic, because obviously if all of these new businesses are coming, which they are, and you know, more students are coming to ASU, more people are coming to Jonesboro, period. And with all of that comes an increase in traffic, and you know, we're starting to have some traffic issues. We're not bad like some of the big cities, but you know, if we keep growing, then at some point we could wake up and be there. So if you are elected mayor, what will you do to fix the current traffic problems that we have, as well as be proactive in addressing future traffic issues?
Well, as of right now, we do have a little bit of a traffic issue at certain points and times. But honestly, I have been all over this nation at 20 years old driving a big truck. I can tell you, you know, sitting at Atlanta, Georgia on a turnpike for 10 hours in that 6 lanes, that's a traffic problem. But we do have some problems. My biggest worry and concern is the corner of Southwest Drive and Highland. We have got McDonald's, Walgreens, CVS Pharmacy, Jonesboro High School, a bank, a Dairy Queen, and a Starbucks, all at one intersection. We need to try to keep, you know, we can't really tell people what to do on their property. I understand that, but we can watch on how we zone, you know, putting things in residential neighborhoods that shouldn't be there, you know. We got $90 million coming in from the STEP program. We need a eastern corridor, maybe a northern corridor. There's already things in the system through, you know, grants that Mr. Harold Perrin and Alec Farmer has already got going. And some of these projects don't start till 2020, just to inform the people. I mean, most of this stuff don't, you know, the overpasses, we've got one coming in, and I believe it's Nettleton and Highland, and that's going to help. I'm a big fan of coming in at Rogers Chapel Road at our eastern corridor articulation. All
right, we got
another call.
All right, Mrs. Farrell, what you got now?
Well, I hate to keep trying to hog the phone, but you know I have this little babysitting job, and he's sleeping now. So when my question comes up, I just have to call when I can. I hate to interrupt, but I have one more thing to say. You are a lady of many talents. I didn't realize you were a truck driver too.
Yes, ma'am.
My son has his own trucking company. And truck drivers, as you know, they're hard to find. You can't get anybody to stay on them. So if and when, I'm hoping that your plans for mayor would succeed and you'll be successful at that. But if you ever need a truck driving job, let me know.
I will let you know.
And I'll let him know, because you seem like a competent person and one that could do the job.
I drove for Snyder, and I was on the Walmart and Sears account. That's what I did, cross country. And I was 20 years old, and it was me, my dog, and my oldest daughter, Sydney. And that's how we fed our family. My ex-husband didn't work. I was the only source of income. So me and her would go
Well,
on
he's
the
been
road.
doing this for about 13 years, I think, or 14, and he's always looking for a good driver. So
Honey, I can
I'm
turn.
gonna keep you in mind in case you ever want to do that.
I
Just
hear you.
contact me and I'll let him know.
Okay. What kind of transportation? I mean, you said he owns a trucking company. What kind of trucking company?
He's the owner operator.
Over the road, trucking company. He's sub-leases for Sears.
Right.
He drives for Sears. He has his own truck.
That's a good account, man. That's awesome. They pay good.
Well, Miss Farrell, we got to get ready to go to break.
So if you ever need a trucking job, let me know.
I'll let you know, Miss Farrell. Thank you, honey.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, we're getting ready to go to break. So, Mrs. Farrell, I almost call you Mrs. Farrell. So, Mrs. Dunavant, if you don't get elected, hey, there's
I
always...
got another trucking job.
There you go. You listen to Community Conversations. Our guest is Mrs. Amanda Dunavant, candidate for the office of mayor of the city of Jonesboro. We'll be back on KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Regardless of the reason you apply for credit, the last thing you want is for your application to be rejected. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling provides reasons a credit card application could be declined, along with the steps you can take to correct the problem. Not enough existing credit. What to do? Judiciously build credit, perhaps starting with a secured credit card, but confirm in advance that the issuer reports all activity to the credit bureaus. Now, suppose you have poor payment history. The highest weighted element in the scoring model is how a person repays his or her debt and obligations. A history of skipped or late payments can knock you out of consideration. What to do? Identify any issues by obtaining your credit report for free at annualcreditreport.com. Next, start making payments on all accounts. This builds a positive credit history and helps to establish creditworthiness. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
KLEK presents A Harvest of Spoken Word, Junior Edition, hosted by Quabila Harden, to be held Saturday, November 19th, 2016 at 6 p.m. Location, Whistle Stop Bistro and Catering, 5435 East Nettleton Avenue. It is $12 with the meal included. This will be open mic, karaoke, dance, comedy, and etc. 18 and under to perform. This is a KLEK fundraiser.
The court-appointed Special Advocate Program of the 2nd Judicial District presents Run Crazy for CASA 5K Yearly Race Fundraiser, Saturday, November 5th at the ASU Pavilion. Start time is 8 o'clock a.m. Registration for runners and walkers is ongoing, and Halloween costumes are encouraged to be worn but not required. Prizes will be awarded to the top 3 male and female winners in each age group, as well as the top 5 overall male and female finishers. There will also be t-shirts, pizza, massages, and a costume contest. Proceeds from the 5K will be used to help CASA's mission of helping children taken into foster care due to abuse and neglect. Registration for the 5K and other information is available at neacasa.org. CASA is a nonprofit organization.
Whistle Stop Bistro and Catering, 5435 East Nettleton Avenue at the four-way stop between highways 351 and 463, serving Jonesboro for over 5 years with a motto of "We cater them all, large or small," offers catering and rental space for parties, churches, offices, and fundraisers for holidays and all occasions. They also offer a full breakfast and lunch menu, open Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., 870-275-6239. Details at klekfm.org.
The Gospel Writers of Jonesboro, Arkansas presents their 7th anniversary celebration, Saturday, October 22nd, 2016, starting at 6 o'clock p.m. at Bethesda Worship and Healing Center, 2215 North Church Street in Jonesboro. Reverend Kenneth Thomas, pastor. Theme, He Did It For Me. Featuring Fully Committed, Ratio Male Chorus, Gifted of Brinkley, The Hughes Singers, Voices of Prayer, The Golden Stars, Voices of Victory, New Life Singers, The Gospel 4, The Morning Starlights, Grant and the Gospel Voices, Blessful 7, Warriors of Harmony, The Gospel Souls, and The Majestic Wonders. The MC is Brother Miles Kimball, KXJK. More information is available via Sister Tammy Starks at 870-351-8418. Did you know that KLEK 102.5 FM is a non-profit organization? Did you know that you can donate to KLEK 102.5 FM and your donation is tax deductible? Donations to non-profit organizations such as KLEK can reduce the amount of taxes you may owe the IRS or increase the amount of any potential tax refund. Support your KLEK today. You can donate by calling 870-277-1080, visiting our studio at 1411 Franklin Street in Jonesboro, or on our website, www.klekfm.org. We at KLEK 102.5 FM are blessed and grateful for your support.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations on KLEK with our guest, Mrs. Amanda Dunavant, candidate for the office of Mayor of Jonesboro.
Alrighty, so during the break, I asked Miss Amanda to quickly discuss some issues that we hadn't quite got a chance to get to, such as, talks of increasing the quality of various parks and rec venues around town, like adding a dog park, or we talked about walking trails and bike paths along the highway, or different things. And also we know that there's convention centers coming in, and so I wanted her to give her thoughts on, just kind of touch on each one quickly because we don't have a lot of time in this last segment, but give your thoughts and views, and then give your thoughts and views on private funding versus city involvement.
Okay. Let's start with the convention center. We got 2 convention centers going on. One with a hotel. I mean, come on now. That's awesome news. But on the good side, and when you're in business, you have got to look at what could best possibly happen, what could happen, and what the worst thing that you could ever imagine happen. Okay, the best thing is they both flourish. A-State, they got hospitality services. Matter of fact, my sister-in-law, Mandy Dunavant, is actually going for, hospitality and, cooking and preparing and stuff like that. So, that's going to be really good hands-on learning experience. I'm a total fan of that. Private and city funded, that's where there's a private industry that's going to take the burden and the overhead.
Okay.
And that takes the liability and the burden and the overhead off the city, but we still reap the benefits of it, like as in taxes. Now, if the city owns it, that's all on the city, whether it's bankrupt or bust. That could go good and it could go really, really bad. Like the aquatic center, it needs to be privately funded. Okay. I mean, what we need to do, check on that, is we need to tell them, because I'm really interested in the water park.
Okay.
I mean, my children all the time, I want to go to Hydro Adventures and places like that. I hear it all the time. But the overhead and the pools, like the aquatic center, I know there's 2 towns in the state of Arkansas that has them, and they're basically going bankrupt.
Okay.
That's at Paragould, and the overhead it's crazy. I mean, like $400,000 over budget. So that needs to be outsourced to somebody else. All you gotta do is tell people, hey, I'm looking, come by. We got, really good property. You just have to talk to people.
Okay.
The dog park, yes, I've heard this. Yes, we need one here in town. Again, it needs to be a little bit of private and a little bit of city funded, but we need to make sure we got our priorities and we've got a balanced budget, because you legally have to have a balanced budget in business. Whether you're a city or a business, it has got to be a balanced budget.
Okay.
And that's a big ordeal. The convention centers, again, I'm hoping for both of them, but what if one of them fails? But that's my big concern, that one's going to overdo the other. But I'm not really expecting that, because A-State has so many different things. And with A-State, I would like to see either a Ward 7 invite the students, two people who actually live on campus to participate in our city council. If we couldn't get a Ward 7, but maybe an ambassador, which is not paid, but they represent a state at our city councils.
Okay.
That's another one of my pillars. I spend the day out there, couple of times, at least a couple of times a week, just talking to students and the people who live on campus. It's a totally different lifestyle.
Okay.
And they ain't feeling like their voices are being heard. I think that would be really neat. That's what they've been asking. They don't feel like they're, and if they feel that they're a part of our government, they're a part of our city, they may go ahead and stay instead of booking off. You know what I'm saying? Stay here for 4 years and then move.
And then votership may increase as well.
That's right.
Among the ASU population.
That's right. And that's, it's sad. I talked to a whole bunch of them that wasn't even registered, and they, after talking to me and explaining to them how important, how many people have fought and died for our freedoms to vote. Mm-hmm. Selma, that's a big movie that everybody knows. That actually happened. That is a true story. Mm-hmm. People were actually beaten down and attacked just because they wanted to vote. Yes. And that's sad. It breaks my heart.
All right, Amanda, we get into the final 2.5 minutes of the show. So this is your opportunity to talk about anything that we have not mentioned, let people know how they can get in touch with you, any fundraisers or events that you are having, and to let the listeners know why you should be elected the next mayor of Jonesboro.
And go.
Thank you, Gonzi. I'm on Facebook. You can just look me up. My name's Amanda Moffett Dunavant, and that's AmandaMoffett. I've got an email address, all that good stuff's on my Facebook. The reason why you should elect me for mayor, I am the only person that has not tried to work for the city of Jonesboro. This is, I've never ran for an office. This is my first time. But, I've always heard if you want change, you need to step up to the plate and change it. If you can't get somebody else to change it, then you're just going to have to change it yourself. Well, that's what I'm here for. Okay. And I don't want your money. What I'm saying is if you want to donate to my cause, donate it to a community charity here in Northeast Arkansas. And that's what I've been telling everybody. Me and my husband, we've been paying for all my signs, all my advertising. And it's without him, this wouldn't be possible. But
well, maybe on your Facebook page, can you list some of the charities that you're involved in, so if people do want to donate, they'll know where to go? Let's
see here. There's Veterans Clergy, which is a Northeast Arkansas Veterans Clergy. You can call and talk to Veteran Services at the courthouse, and Miss Verma Smith would be glad to take that. The Food Bank of Jonesboro, Arkansas, Northeast Arkansas. Okay. The Humane Society, just Salvation Army, just whatever your favorite local charity, as long as it stays local, that helps local. Okay. And there's no sense of spending thousands and thousands of dollars worth of advertising when ultimately it's going to go in the landfill, so it helps the environment. 2, we're helping Northeast Arkansas with charities that people, the homeless, donate money to Walnut Street Baptist Church and say, hey, help the homeless people. Okay. There's a lot of charities here in town that's wanting it, and I'm a big donator here in Jonesboro. Not very many people know that. I do a lot try to do a lot for our community, whether it be hard work, and it'd be an honor to have your support in your vote. And that's what I really need is your vote, and hopefully you'll vote for me November the 8th.
All right, we thank you, Mrs. Dunavant. KLEK and the Voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council does not endorse nor support any candidate for office, nor was any compensation provided for this interview. This interview was provided for informational purposes only. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, go to our website, klekfm.org. Look for KLEK TV. You can find all of these interviews. Make yourself informed. Early voting starts Monday. Be blessed. Have a great weekend. This is KLEK 102.5 FM.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.